My wife's watch exposed her secret DNA tests at our baby shower, so I unmasked her affair, destroyed her lies, and took back my life forever finally. I noticed the watch before I noticed the lie. Jennifer never wore a watch, not once in our 12 years of marriage. She hated anything on her wrists, said it made her feel restricted. I remember years ago I bought her a sleek little smartwatch, thinking it would help her keep track of her runs. She smiled, thanked me, then left it on the dresser until the battery died. That was Jennifer. And yet, tonight at our baby shower, there it was, a shining, unmistakably expensive wristwatch hugging her left arm. A men's model, thick-banded, elegant but understated. Something that didn't scream wealth but whispered it. I noticed it when she reached for a glass of sparkling water, her fingers curling around the stem as if the watch had always been part of her. I asked casually, "New watch?" She barely glanced at me. "Oh, this." It was a gift from the girls. From the girls. That was Jennifer speak for her little clique, Emily, Lisa, and Rachel. The same three who had just been giggling over something across the room, throwing her knowing glances between sips of their overpriced cocktails. I looked over at them. Lisa caught my gaze and smirked, not a friendly smirk, the kind of smirk a person gives when they know something you don't. That was the moment the first crack formed. I let it go for the moment. The party was still going, people were laughing, and Thomas, our 15-year-old, was tugging on my sleeve, eager to tell me something. I leaned down expecting some inside joke or another ridiculous meme, but he only whispered, "Mom's phone was open. You need to see this." I didn't react. Years of marriage had taught me to keep a straight face, but my pulse pounded in my ears. "Later," I murmured. He hesitated, eyes flicking toward his mother. She was across the room, smiling, radiant, every bit the glowing mother-to-be, but Thomas had my instincts. He felt something was off. Finally, he nodded and backed away. I didn't wait long. As soon as Jennifer was wrapped up in conversation, I slipped into our bedroom. Her purse sat on the nightstand, open just enough for me to spot her leather-bound planner. Jennifer, for all her digital habits, still swore by handwritten notes. She said writing things down made them more real. I flipped through the pages quickly, fingers steady, breath measured, and then I saw it. A neat little entry penned in her precise, elegant handwriting. Session, relaxation therapy, time, date, and an address. The address of a private medical clinic that specialized in DNA testing. A slow, creeping chill crawled up my spine. Relaxation therapy, right? I took out my phone and snapped a picture of the entry, my heart hammering in my chest. I should have stopped there. I should have walked out, let it simmer, thought it through. But then my eyes landed on her nightstand where she always placed her wedding ring before bed. Except tonight her ring wasn't there. But the watch was, and as I lifted it, tilting it under the soft glow of the bedside lamp, something caught my eye, a tiny engraving on the back. A serial number, and beneath it, 2 initials. Not mine. I should have walked away. I should have confronted her the moment I saw the initials on that damn watch. But something held me back, some dark, festering need for certainty. So instead of exploding, I played it smart. I let the doubt simmer beneath my skin. Let it coil into something sharp and calculating. Then the universe did me a favor. It was 2 nights after the baby shower. Jennifer had taken her car to a late prenatal yoga class, another one of her little rituals. I was supposed to be home, but Thomas needed a ride back from his friend's house. I took Jennifer's car, closer, easier. Thomas slid into the passenger seat, immediately pulling out his phone. "Thanks, Dad. No problem." I adjusted the seat, sighing. The car still had that new leather smell, that pristine feel, because Jennifer had been meticulous about keeping it spotless. But as I went to start the engine, my hand brushed against something on the center console, a small blinking light. The car's voice assistant had been activated, and then a voice, Jennifer's voice, filled the cabin. "We have to keep this a secret until after the birth." My breath stopped. Thomas looked up from his phone. "What was that?" I couldn't answer. The words echoed in the silent car, crackling slightly like they had been recorded during a call. My hands were frozen on the wheel. Then, as if mocking me, the assistant chimed again, "Would you like to continue playback?" For a moment, neither of us moved. My brain scrambled for an explanation. Maybe it was some pregnancy-related thing, a surprise she was planning, something innocent. But deep down, I already knew. Thomas glanced at me, his face showing that teenage mix of confusion and reluctant understanding, like he wanted to believe in his mother, but also knew something was wrong. I reached for the button. Yes, the car filled with voices. It's risky, I know, but we don't have a choice. If he finds out now, everything falls apart. A man's voice responded, too muffled to recognize, but the tone was clear, urgent, secretive. Just hold on a little longer. Once the baby is here, we'll figure everything out. I felt my pulse in my throat, my vision narrowed. Thomas was staring at me now, his phone forgotten in his lap. He won't suspect a thing, Jennifer's voice reassured. He never has before. Couldn't move, couldn't breathe. My grip on the steering wheel tightened so hard my knuckles turned white. Never has before. Like this wasn't the first time. Like this wasn't a mistake or a moment of weakness, but something woven into the fabric of our marriage. I forced my breathing to steady. My thoughts, however, were anything but steady, because Jennifer had no idea that our entire house, our smart home, the one I set up myself, was synced to a private server. Every connected device, every audio input, and this car was connected too. I pressed another button, my voice cold, controlled. Save audio to home server. A soft chime confirmed the upload. Jennifer had spent years treating me like a fool, like I was blind. She had no idea that for the first time in our marriage I was finally seeing her for who she really was. I didn't sleep that night. I lay next to Jennifer, listening to the slow, even breaths of a woman who had no idea her carefully constructed world was already crumbling. My mind was a storm, replaying that damn recording, hearing her voice drip with quiet confidence. He won't suspect a thing. She thought I was blind, thought I was stupid. By morning I was done feeling. No more shock, no more pain, just an icy, focused resolve. I needed more. Jennifer, like most people who think they're clever, had one fatal flaw. She trusted technology just enough to be reckless with it. I knew she used cloud storage for her photos, syncing them automatically to keep her precious memories safe. I also knew she occasionally deleted things in a panic, assuming they were gone forever. She forgot one thing. I was the one who set up our accounts. I had access to the admin panel. So while she showered, I sat at my desk, logged in, and scrolled through the recovery folder. And there they were, dozens of images. I clicked on the first one, a beach, not the overpopulated tourist trap kind, but somewhere secluded. The sand too white, the water too perfect, a place meant for secrets. Then I saw her, Jennifer standing on a wooden pier, a breeze catching her hair just right. She looked beautiful, radiant even, and unmistakably pregnant. Much more pregnant than she should have been. I clenched my jaw, my pulse steady, cold. The official timeline she fed me, the one I stupidly believed, had her at barely 3 months along when these photos were taken. But in this picture she was showing. I clicked again. Another image. This time she wasn't alone. A shadow stretched across the sand, reaching toward her. My stomach tightened. Another click, and then there he was, a man half turned away from the camera, standing just behind her. He wasn't touching her, but he might as well have been. The way he stood, the way she leaned slightly in his direction, familiar, comfortable. His shirt caught my eye, white, crisp, with a small embroidered logo on the pocket. I zoomed in, a company logo. Jennifer's company. I closed my eyes for a second, inhaling slowly through my nose. Geotags, the metadata attached to the photos told me everything I needed to know. They were taken during one of her supposed work trips, the same trip where she claimed to be swamped with meetings, too busy to even FaceTime me before bed. I pulled up my phone, cross-referencing the location with her company's travel logs, the ones she conveniently left open on her work laptop at home. Bingo. Her lover was there at the same time. Everything lined up too perfectly, the pregnancy, the secrecy, the damn beach trip that never existed in my reality but was very, very real in hers. I should have seen it before, but I wasn't that man anymore. I glanced over my shoulder. The shower was still running. Good. I transferred the recovered photos to a secure drive and erased any trace that I had ever been there. Jennifer thought she was playing me. She had no idea I had just flipped the board. The pictures should have been enough. The recordings should have been enough. But I wasn't in this for just confirmation anymore. I was in it for the full truth, every detail, every deception. I wanted to know the depth of the betrayal before I burned everything to the ground, and Jennifer, bless her heart, made it easy. She had a fitness tracker, a high-end model, one of those sleek, overpriced ones that measured everything, heart rate, sleep patterns, even blood oxygen levels. She got it a year ago during one of her wellness kicks. She never took it off. That meant it logged everything. And since she used my email for the family subscription plan, I had access. She just never thought I'd look. I sat at my desk, opened the app. Jennifer's profile loaded instantly, her latest stats glowing on the screen, steps taken, calories burned, sleep quality. But I wasn't interested in that. I went straight to the GPS logs. Her usual movements were predictable: work, home, the occasional yoga class. But then I saw it, a pattern. Every few weeks she had long gaps of missing data late at night, not a single recorded step between midnight and 4 a.m., almost like she took the watch off. But one night she forgot. 2 weeks ago, 3:12 a.m., a long walk through a park that, at that hour, should have been empty. I clicked on the route map following the red line of her movements. She didn't just stroll around. She entered through the east gate, walked in a slow, winding pattern, then stopped for nearly 40 minutes by a bench near the center. I zoomed in, and then she left, not back the way she came. She exited on the far side, onto a street lined with quiet suburban homes. One address in particular stood out, a name I recognized. It wasn't random, it wasn't a scenic night walk. It was him. My skin prickled. I leaned back in my chair, exhaling slowly, forcing the anger down. This wasn't just an affair. This wasn't some fling. This was calculated, thought out, scheduled. And I had proof. Now I just needed to see it for myself. I opened another tab, logged into my city's public surveillance system. The same one I'd used to contest a parking ticket last year. Found the park, scrolled through the timestamps. 3:12 a.m., a lone figure entered. Jennifer. 3:16 a.m., another figure approached. A man not fully visible, but I didn't need his face, his build, his posture. It was him. They sat together on the bench, close, too close. Then 40 minutes later they walked off into the night together to his house. I didn't look away from the screen. I just let it all settle. Let it root itself deep inside me. I wasn't disgusted anymore. I was done feeling anything but cold, razor-sharp focus. Jennifer thought she was careful. She had no idea how much of her life I was about to dismantle. I wasn't even looking for it by this point. I had stopped expecting things to just fall into my lap. I had been deliberate, methodical, digging through her digital footprints, tracking her movements, piecing together the truth one shard at a time. But this was sheer stupid luck, or maybe fate. I was in the garage, taking out the trash, hands moving on autopilot, bag out, new liner in, until something caught my eye, a folded sheet of paper. Thick, official-looking, wedged between discarded junk mail and an empty protein bar wrapper. Jennifer never left paper receipts. She was all about digital transactions, emailed invoices, Apple Pay, which meant, whatever this was, she didn't want it showing up in a bank statement. I pulled it out, unfolded it, and felt the breath leave my body. It was a payment confirmation, a wire transfer to a private medical clinic for a genetic analysis. The amount wasn't pocket change, 5 figures, more than enough to suggest this wasn't some routine prenatal screening. My hands tightened around the paper. I read it again, twice. There was no patient name listed, just Jennifer's billing details and a vague description of services rendered. But I didn't need a name, because there was only one reason a married woman pregnant with her husband's supposed child would secretly wire that kind of money to a genetics lab. My stomach twisted. I turned, gripping the edge of the workbench, steadying myself. For the first time since this whole thing started unraveling, I felt something close to helplessness. What if I had been living a lie even before this affair? What if my whole damn marriage had been a carefully managed illusion? I squeezed my eyes shut. No more spiraling, no more emotion. I needed to act. I grabbed my phone and took a picture of the receipt, then ran a reverse search on the clinic. It was a high-end facility, the kind that didn't advertise services to just anyone. But buried in the depths of an old legal case, I found a leaked patient form. One line stood out: parental DNA confirmation services available upon request. Paternity test. Jennifer hadn't just been cheating. She had been checking, to see if this baby, the baby we were celebrating, the baby whose nursery I had painted, was mine. And she hadn't told me. I forced my breathing to slow. She wanted answers? Fine, I'd give her some. I spent the next 2 hours creating a fake email, spoofed to look like it came from the clinic, a professional, polished report, complete with the same formatting and headers I'd found in sample documents online. Then I sent it to him, her lover. Subject line: urgent, DNA test results. The fake report attached. The contents: a carefully crafted confirmation that the child was his. And now I just had to wait for the panic, wait for the cracks to spread, wait for Jennifer's whole damn world to collapse. I didn't wait long. By the next morning, Jennifer was acting strange, distracted. She kept checking her phone, fingers tapping erratically against the screen, eyes flicking toward me every now and then, gauging, watching. She knew something was off because he had gotten the email, because he had seen the results, and now they were scrambling. I played my part. I kissed her goodbye, told her I'd pick up dinner, asked if she wanted anything special. She smiled too quickly, shook her head, and practically bolted out the door. Perfect. As soon as she was gone, I went to work. Jennifer wasn't careless with her phone, but she was predictable. Every time she downloaded a new app, she let autofill save her login details. It was a habit, one she probably didn't even think about, and I had spent the last few years managing our family security, which meant I had access to every device on her network. That included her phone, the weak link, her messaging app. I created a fake update notification designed to look like a routine security patch, a simple phishing trick. When she clicked it, it redirected her to a cloned login page. She entered her credentials without a second thought, and just like that, I had them. I logged into her account from my laptop, hands steady, pulse slow. The chat history was there, untouched, waiting for me. I scrolled and then I saw it. Their messages stretched back months, conversations littered with inside jokes and pet names, the kind of intimacy that doesn't just happen overnight. But it was the most recent messages that sent a slow, creeping numbness through my limbs. Him, I still can't believe he doesn't know after all this time. Jennifer, he never asks questions. He trusts me. Him, that's why this works so well. And soon we won't have to hide anything anymore. Jennifer, not long now, just until the baby's here. Then the one that made my vision tunnel. Him, I can't wait to be a real family with you and our son. Our son, not her son, not the baby. Ours. I stared at the words, my mind oddly quiet. There it was, the truth, naked and undeniable. They had a plan, a timeline, and I was just a temporary obstacle. Jennifer wasn't waiting for the baby to be born out of guilt or fear. She was waiting because she needed me to be useful a little longer. Once the baby arrived, she'd be gone. She had it all mapped out. The slow, inevitable divorce, the narrative of an unhappy marriage, the gradual transition into a new happy life with him. I exhaled slowly, closed the laptop. For the first time since this started, I wasn't angry. I wasn't heartbroken. I wasn't anything. Just cold. Cold and ready. She thought she had a plan. She had no idea that I had just rewritten the ending. Jennifer's arrogance had always been her greatest weakness. She thought she was careful, thought she covered her tracks, thought I was still that trusting husband who never asked questions, who never looked deeper. But she underestimated technology, and she sure as hell underestimated me. I had been tracking her movements for weeks, gathering proof, collecting every breadcrumb she carelessly dropped. But now I needed something undeniable, something that wouldn't just expose her but bury her. That's when I thought about her smartwatch. It was always on her wrist, constantly listening, constantly recording tiny biometric data, her heart rate, her stress levels, even the time she moved in her sleep. But most importantly, it had a built-in microphone for voice commands, a microphone that synced with her phone, a microphone I could access. It took less than an hour to install the Silent app on her phone, a background process disguised as a standard health update. It activated the mic whenever she spoke near her watch and automatically uploaded the recordings to a cloud storage drive. Then I waited. She had a doctor's appointment that afternoon, a routine checkup for the pregnancy. She didn't even notice when she lifted her wrist to take a call in the waiting room. Didn't notice when the smartwatch's tiny mic activated, capturing everything. That night, after she fell asleep, I retrieved the file. I plugged in my headphones, hit play, and I listened. The recording started with pleasantries. The doctor polite, Jennifer relaxed. Everything sounded normal, until it didn't. "How's everything looking?" she asked, casual. "Healthy," the doctor confirmed. "No concerns at all. You're measuring a little ahead of schedule, but that's to be expected considering your conception date, right?" Pause. Then Jennifer's voice dropped slightly. "Just to confirm. My husband doesn't need to know about that, does he?" I stopped breathing. "About the dates?" "Yes. About when exactly the conception happened. He assumes it was after we got back from our trip, but..." Another pause. Then Jennifer laughed softly. "Some things are better left undiscovered." A cold, creeping numbness spread through my limbs. I let the words sink in, let them settle deep into the part of my brain that used to love this woman. Then I ran the file through an AI transcription service, extracting every word, every syllable. The software cleaned up the background noise, making Jennifer's voice crisp, undeniable. I saved the transcript, downloaded the original audio, then I forwarded it to him. No subject line, no explanation, just raw, undeniable truth. And now I waited for the explosion. By now, Jennifer's world had cracks running through it. The carefully crafted illusion of her perfect life was unraveling thread by thread, and she didn't even realize it yet. But he would. Her lover, the man who thought he had won. It was time to make him bleed. I created the account in less than an hour. A simple, believable persona, a woman, single, attractive but not overly polished, someone who looked real. I pulled photos from an old inactive profile, adjusted minor details, and set up a fake LinkedIn to match. Then I waited. It didn't take long. A couple of mutual industry connections, a casual follow, a few harmless comments under his posts. He noticed. He responded. Soon we were messaging. He was cautious at first, predictable, but I played the part well, flirty but subtle, interested but not too eager, just enough to make him feel like he was the one in control. Then I baited the hook. You seem different from the guys I usually talk to. More grounded, family-oriented. A classic line, the kind of thing a man like him wants to believe about himself. And he took it. I try to be, he replied. Family is everything to me. I nearly laughed. Then, and as if to prove it, he did exactly what I wanted. He sent a picture. A photo of Jennifer, pregnant, smiling, holding her belly in some intimate, stolen moment, and beside her, his hand rested on her stomach like he was the father, like he was the one building a life with her. That's when I knew he wasn't just some idiot having an affair. He believed this was his family now. I stared at the image for a long moment, feeling nothing but cold, simmering disgust. Then I got to work. Deep fake technology had come a long way. With enough source material. His social media videos, corporate interviews, even an old wedding toast I found on YouTube. I had everything I needed. It took a few hours, but when I was done, the result was flawless. A fake video of him sitting in what looked like a police interrogation room, looking just panicked enough. His voice perfectly synthesized, spilling out a confession. I lied. I manipulated her. I falsified documents to take money from the company. I never loved her. I just saw an opportunity and took it. And the baby... It's not mine. It was subtle, just enough detail to sound real, but vague enough to let people's imaginations run wild. I uploaded it to an anonymous burner account, scheduled it to drop at exactly the right moment, and then I sent the final message from my fake profile. I know what kind of man you really are. Enjoy the fallout. Now I just had to wait. Because when the video hit, when his colleagues, his family, and Jennifer saw it, his perfect little world would burn, and I would be standing in the ashes watching. The party was supposed to be a celebration, a bright, cheerful event filled with laughter, cake, and balloons. Family and friends gathered, toasting to Jennifer and the baby. She glowed, radiant in her carefully chosen maternity dress, playing the part of the devoted wife and expectant mother. It was almost impressive, if I didn't already know what she really was. I played along, smiling, chatting, watching, but the real show was about to start. Thomas was the one who pulled me aside. My son. My sharp, observant son who had been watching his mother with the same quiet suspicion I had. Dad, his voice low, urgent. I turned, lowering my drink. Yeah? He glanced around, making sure no one was close, then held out his phone. A single notification glowed on the screen. A message preview from an unknown number. Love, tomorrow everything changes. Our little one will finally be with just us. My entire body went cold. What the hell is this? I asked, my voice sharper than I intended. I don't know, Thomas said, eyes flicking up to mine. It popped up when I was setting up Mom's new iPad. I think it pulled messages from her backup. My mind raced. iCloud sync. She must have linked her devices, assuming it was safe, assuming no one would ever check. But she forgot about family sharing, forgot that all her backups were accessible from the same cloud. And Thomas, being a tech-savvy teenager, had seen the notification appear in real time. A message she had never meant for me to see. Our little one will finally be with just us. The meaning was obvious. Jennifer and him had set a date. Tomorrow. She was leaving, taking the baby, walking away from the life we had built, and she had planned to do it under the guise of innocence, letting everyone believe she was a devoted wife right up until the last second. My stomach twisted with a dark, bitter satisfaction. She thought she had everything under control, thought she would blindside me. But she didn't know that I had been building my plan this entire time. I exhaled slowly, my grip on Thomas's shoulder firm but steady. "You did good, son, really good." He nodded, watching me carefully. "What are you going to do?" I looked across the room. Jennifer was laughing, glowing, basking in the warmth of the celebration, completely unaware that everything was about to change. I smiled. "Don't worry," I murmured. "I've got it handled." The party had reached its peak. Laughter echoed through the house, guests mingled with drinks in hand, and Jennifer was the center of attention, glowing, gracious, basking in the warmth of her carefully crafted life. She had no idea it was already over. I stood near the projector, watching her from a distance. The baby shower slideshow was still looping. Soft, sentimental images of our life together, vacation photos, ultrasound images, pictures meant to cement the illusion of a happy family. But that illusion was about to be shattered. I had prepared everything. The files were ready. The Bluetooth connection was already hijacked. One simple command on my phone, and the carefully curated slideshow would be replaced by reality. I tapped the screen, and the room changed in an instant. The laughter died. Conversations halted. A new image flickered onto the massive screen. Not a baby picture, not a happy memory, but a text message. "Love, tomorrow everything changes. Our little one will finally be with just us." Silence. The air in the room thickened as people processed what they were seeing. Murmurs started. Confused glances. Jennifer froze, her champagne flute hovering mid-air. Another image. A photograph. Jennifer standing on the secluded beach, visibly pregnant months before she even told me, and just behind her, him. The whispers turned to gasps. Another image, a chat log. "Him, I can't wait to be a real family with you and our son. Jennifer, not long now, just until the baby's here." A sharp inhale from one of her friends. Someone muttered, "Oh my God." Jennifer shot up from her chair, her face pale, eyes wide with panic. "Richard, what is this?" I didn't answer. Instead, I played the final piece, the audio. "My husband doesn't need to know the conception happened before the trip, does he?" Jennifer's own voice, clear, undeniable, filling the room. Then her laughter. "Some things are better left undiscovered." That was it, the tipping point. People recoiled, some turned away. Others stared at her like they had never seen her before. And then, he panicked. Jennifer's lover, who had tried to stay invisible in the crowd, suddenly stiffened, his face drained of color as he realized everyone was looking at him now. I turned to him, my voice calm even. "Would you like to explain?" He opened his mouth, closed it. Sweat beaded on his forehead. His gaze darted toward Jennifer, desperate, searching for a way out. Jennifer stammered, shaking her head violently. "This isn't real. He's lying. He faked." But she never got to finish because he broke first. He cracked under the pressure, under the weight of every eye in the room. I didn't." His voice wavered. "It wasn't. Jennifer told me it was already over between you two." I tilted my head, feigning curiosity. "Oh? And the baby?" His breath hitched. Jennifer's lips parted in horror, realizing what was about to happen. But he was already too far gone. She said it was mine," he blurted out, his voice rising, desperate. "She told me you weren't even sleeping together. She said—" He stopped dead. Silence. Jennifer's face twisted, her hands trembling. "You idiot!" But it was too late. She had spent months weaving her web of lies, carefully manipulating everyone around her, and in one moment he had unraveled it all. The room turned against her. Friends stepped away. Family members whispered in disgust. The perfect life she had built, the reputation she held so dearly, was collapsing right in front of her. And I stood in the wreckage, watching, satisfied. I woke up the next morning to silence. The house, once filled with the echoes of Jennifer's carefully crafted life, was now a hollow shell. No fake laughter, no lies dripping from her mouth, no perfectly staged illusions. She was gone, not by choice. She had tried to stay, tried to plead, tried to spin one last desperate excuse as the walls caved in around her. But there was no salvaging it. Not after last night. Not after the entire room had heard her own voice confess the truth. And not after what came next. I sat at my desk, sipping my coffee, staring at the open laptop in front of me. The last phase of my plan was already in motion. Jennifer had spent years constructing an image of herself. A brilliant career woman, a devoted wife, a soon-to-be loving mother. Every lie carefully placed, every detail curated. But perception is a fragile thing, and I had shattered it. The anonymous email had already been sent to her company's internal network, quietly slipping into inboxes overnight. A simple package, screenshots, bank transactions, the falsified paternity test, the audio recording. No commentary, no accusations, just cold, undeniable facts. Her colleagues would see it, her bosses, the very people who held the keys to her professional future. And then the final blow, an automated bot, programmed weeks ago, had released the same files onto multiple social media accounts, tagged under burner profiles, pushed into places where they would spread like wildfire. The message was simple: some secrets are better left undiscovered. But this one belongs to everyone now. By the time she woke up, the damage had already been done. She wasn't just a woman caught cheating. She was a fraud, a manipulator, a liar who had not only betrayed her husband but fabricated an entire pregnancy timeline to deceive two men at once. And her lover. He wasn't faring much better. The legal notice had gone out early that morning. His ex-wife had been waiting for an opportunity, any reason, to drag him back to court for custody of their children. And now she had everything she needed: the messages, the admissions of deception, the financial inconsistencies. By the end of the week, he wouldn't just lose Jennifer. He'd lose his kids too. One by one, every piece of their future collapsed. All that remained was to deliver the final gift. I walked to the entryway where Jennifer's suitcase still sat, packed in a rush, her hands shaking too hard to zip it properly the night before. She thought she had a choice. She thought she could fix this. I picked up the envelope sitting neatly on top, a plane ticket, one way, first class, paid for with her credit card. Destination, him. She had wanted a new life with him. Now she had no other option. I grabbed a pen, scrawled one last message on the envelope before placing it back on top of her things. Your secret now belongs to everyone. Enjoy your new life. I walked away, locking the door behind me. And for the first time in years, I felt nothing at all.